So we were talking about your IEP,
Yes.
and I asked you can you think of something that you want to work on specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember you were about to tell me what you wanted to work on?
Not right.
Let's see. You were telling me about sometimes when you have a substitute.
Mm-hmm. And my teacher doesn't tell me, like it's unexpected changes, like in the morning or for the whole day or something like that. Unexpected changes. My teacher doesn't tell me I have a substitute. I want to work on not getting frustrated or mad when that happens.
Okay. That would be something good to work on. Okay. So we can talk about that in your meeting and we can put it in your presentation.
Okay.
Okay. We were also looking at some of the Common Core standards. Yeah. We talked about those for 3rd grade right now.
The test where you have to fill in the bubbles?
Yeah. So we were talking some about comprehension.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find that.
What also I would like to work on is asking, did I say about like asking questions about stories, answering questions about stories? Okay.
So one of the things I think we talked about was it says to read closely to determine what the text says and to make logical inferences from it, to cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions drawn from the text. Now that's pretty complicated. Did you understand that?
No.
So what it's saying is it wants you to be able to read a story and to determine from the story what is happening or why it's happening, like what cause and effect are. So an inference means something that is not said specifically in the story, but if you read it, you should be able to understand that information even though they don't tell you the information. Is that something that you think you do a good job at right now or something that you struggle with?
I think it's something that I struggle with.
So it's something you would like to work on? Okay.
Is it recording? Okay. Is it recording you?
It's recording both of us, yeah. Both of us. Now, it also had a part that it talked about being able to identify literal and non-literal language, and we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And do you understand the difference between literal and non-literal?
Non-literal means people say words that doesn't actually mean what they say. Literal means they say words and that's exactly what it means.
Right, and I used the example of pulling your leg. I'm going to pull your leg. Is that literal? Am I literally pulling your leg when I say that to someone?
No.
So if it's not literal, what is it?
Not literal.
Right, okay. And is that something that when you're reading or when you're hearing a story that you're good at being able to tell right away? The difference between literal and non-literal?
I feel like I need to work on that.
Okay.
Because sometimes it feels like sometimes I don't, in some books I read, I don't understand some like cause and effects and non-literal and literal in that book when I read a story, kind of like Magic Treehouse. Sometimes I feel like they ask that in the test, like, who said this? Or something like this.
So you're talking about AR tests? Okay. And we mentioned in AR tests, it seems like they ask you about things that actually are said in the book.
So like, they ask, who said this thing?
Or what did they say?
What events? What were all the events that happened in the story? Or what did they discover? Or what did this person discover when he came to that place.
Mm-hmm. And then on the tests that you take in class that are not AR tests, they ask different questions. They ask questions like what?
Like, why this happened?
Okay.
Or something like that.
And are those questions easier for you or harder for you?
Those are kind of harder.
Okay.
Like, I feel like, I remember I had questions like that on the Alexander one.
Okay. So it's easier for you to answer the questions when they ask about something that happened in the book that you read, but it's harder when it's stuff you have to guess from, it doesn't say exactly what happened in the book. They want you to try and decide about why something happened or how it happened.
Right.
Okay. And that's what you want to work on. Anything else you would like to include? I know you talked about a specific teacher you would like next year. We'll put that in your presentation. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about in your presentation for your IEP?
One of the other things is really,
You thinking?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
What else?
That's fine. So we're going to talk about which class and teacher that is your preference.
Yes.
We're going to talk about you want to work on not getting frustrated when things change unexpectedly.
Like when a teacher doesn't, my teacher doesn't tell me I have a substitute.
Okay. And we want to work on non-literal and literal language and inference.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Any other areas that you need, like math or anything like that? You've really done great in math this year. Is there anything in that area that you think you need help with or that you don't need any help with? You just want to keep learning like you have been?
I don't feel like there's anything that I struggle on in math.
Okay.
I really understand the questions.
Good.
But I think there's one thing that I kind of need to work on that. And
What's
that's
that?
kind of story problems.
Still story problems or struggle. Okay. You've improved on that, but we can talk about story problems too.
Like some like you have to write at expanded form.
Okay.
Like they ask you, what adds up to this number? Or a riddle or something like that.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. One last thing I can think of is, do you feel like you have enough time to complete all your work?
No.
No. Is it because it takes you a little longer to write, or it takes you a little longer to think, or is it both, or do you get distracted? What are the reasons you think why it takes you, why you're not able to complete your work?
Well, one of the things is when I'm working, I don't feel like sometimes when we have conversation with friends or something like that, Mrs. Dixon doesn't give me enough time to have conversations, or like she gives me too much directions at once, and I can't finish one thing before I start another thing. Or I start another thing, and then I don't know what to do next.
Tell me more about the directions at once. We haven't talked about that before.
Like when we had a multiplication green paper that had a multiplication chart. And we were writing zeros, ones, twos, threes, fours, and something and stuff like that.
So I'm trying to understand, are there too many directions at once? Is it confusing, or is it that you feel like there's too much to do so you feel a little overwhelmed, or is it that you're not understanding all the directions when there's a lot?
I would take the middle one that you said.
You feel overwhelmed. That means you feels like it's so much you just don't know if you can do it. That's what it feels like. Okay. All right. And what about, though, when Mrs. Dixon says that you just have to try your hardest and you don't have to finish the paper? Is that okay to not finish the paper? Because I think you've been wanting to finish the papers even when she says you don't have to.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with leaving the paper halfway done? Or is it something you feel like you really need to finish?
Well, I just need to calm myself down and I just need hope. Let me know that it's okay, because I don't know if it's okay or not.
So you're saying on some assignments you don't know if it's
Like,
okay
I'm
to not
almost
finish?
done, or I have a long ways to go still, and she collects a paper that I'm not even done with yet.
And you are concerned that if you're not done with it, that might be a problem?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just need some extra assurance that what you have done is okay before she collects it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would help you. What about if you typed more of your assignments instead of writing? Does the writing slow you down, or is it something else that makes it slower?
The writing slows me down.
It does, okay. Would you prefer to do more typing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, that's a good thing to know too.
Okay.
Anything else you can think of?
Not anything else, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I think that's a lot of good information, and we can put that in your presentation, and we'll work on that this weekend before your meeting, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good job.
Thanks. Thank you for the donut treat.
You're welcome.
I was enjoying